And there we go. I will leave you with Mr. Angel Hun and Mr. Kill 2.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm Kill 2 with Angel Hun. This is the second half of the last day of qualifying of Alliance Tournament 8. We're about to see AAA on your left against Rote Kapelle. AAA brought 3 Proteus, 2 Hurricane, and a Neros, a Thrasher, 2 Ishkers, and a Daredevil.
And for Rote Kapelle, we have a Balgorn, Harbinger, 2 Curses, a Guardian, 3 Purifiers, and 2 Carries. An interesting setup. I like that AAA changed from the Tengu missile spam setup. What do you think, Kill 2?
I think this is going to be a dope match. I should say for ranges, both teams... Oh, we got bombs in the air already. Matches underway. Bombs coming straight across from the Rote Kapelle team. Looks like they're going to smack right on top of the AAA fleet. Boom, 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 and nothing really taken out. The Frakes took damage, which isn't good, and all the battle cruisers, as well as the Proteus, took a little damage, but nothing dead, and they're about to be right on top of most of that Rote Kapelle team.
AAA being smart and holding those drones in, anticipating that initial bomb swarm, and now we've seen a huge swarm of Hammerhead 2s just obliterating the first Purifier for Rote Kapelle. A lot of damage was spread throughout the AAA team, but it seems like their Oneros is able to compensate quite well at this point.
Man, Bomber's going down. This is a really good sign for AAA. I thought it was going to be a really tough match for them because there's both those curses there, lots of tracking disruption, so much energy neutralization as well. Dampeners probably coming from those bombers. I see just E-War effects all over the place. AAA Hurricane hurting pretty bad. The Daredevil taking some damage as well, but they're getting through the bombers. 2 down and another 1 hurting.
It's really nice that AAA managed to hold those drones in reserve. Even with all those tracking disruptors from the curses, they still have a constant source of damage on top of the Rote Kapelle team. Rote Kapelle really going for a heavy neutralizing setup, it seems. Maybe not the best setup against some of the more Mimitar-oriented ships, but perhaps they can nullify these Proteuses.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've looked at 2 of the Proteus at least, and they do not have guns active. So I don't know if that's purely the cap neutralization. That'd be pretty crazy if it was already to that point, or if it's got to do with dampeners or other, target breaking mechanisms. Daredevil did go down. We're about to lose the first Hurricane for AAA. Not looking good. Not looking good. They're not able to bring this last bomber down. He's still taking damage. Ooh, and he does go down. They do get through that Guardian rep, and they're also putting some damage on a curse. So this is still a great match. Really close.
It looks like this match could go either way at this point, really balanced on the edge of a knife. Both of the logistics ships at full armor, shields, and structure. It looks like one of the carries, the dampening E-War frigate for Rote Kapelle is taking heavy damage at this point. Hopefully the Guardian will be able to keep it up. They do seem to be pretty important to this team. It's one of their big E-War boats, so despite its small size and kind of goofy looking hull, it's really an important part of their team.
As we get later in the match, the Rote Kapelle team probably picking up an advantage. Their own Neros, anytime it gets close to the fight, it's going to be under such cap pressure that it's really going to be hard for him to do any remote repping. And right now, he's not doing any at all. I don't see any reps as that Ishkar goes down. He's probably out of cap. He's also kind of far out of range. He could be just damped from trying to get away from that cap war. So kind of in a bit of a slowdown, but I like Rote Kapelle's chances here. I feel like if they can keep the Proteus out of the fight with those curses, it's really going to be a walk for them.
It should be really interesting with that Balgorn being able to hold their primary targets in place. It looks like Rote Kapelle should be able to execute this quite well as long as that cap warfare stays steady. Hopefully we'll get that. The carries has essentially fully recovered. Both of them are still on the field, hovering around, locking out. I believe the Oneros. I believe the Oneros is both webbed to keep it out of range and dampened to keep it from getting locks. So sort of a 1-2 punch there.
I'm looking at the middle of this fight. A Hurricane has this Harbinger tackled, or at least the Harbinger's tackled by either it or the Proteus. They're sitting right on top of it, and they're putting damage on it, still getting reps from the Guardian, but the Harbinger's got beams fit, so he's not really liking the position he's in right now, getting really up close and personal with these battlecruisers and that Proteus. Still tanking okay because of the Guardian, but at the same time, this Hurricane for AAA slowly going down, like you said. I think that Oneros has been completely taken out of the fight, so he's not able to get in there and help in the way the Guardian is.
Yeah, it definitely looks like those Proteuses are on top of it. I'm not sure. I'm looking at Tribal Bleb right now. He doesn't seem to be firing at all, which is interesting considering that he is literally right on top of that Harby. An interesting choice to use beams at this point. I think Brianna mentioned a glass cannon type fit, but at this type of range, it's unusual to really see beams on a ship like that. The Pulse is getting such fantastic range, even with the Tech 2 long-range ammo Scorch. It doesn't really even seem necessary. But it looks like he's about to go down.
That Hurricane did go down. That was their last really major source of cap-free DPS outside of drones, and that's still what's doing damage for the most part is drones. A lot of just normal, medium, and small Tech 2 damage drones in there on that Harb, but it looks like the Guardian's actually starting to pull it back. I think that this is going to get harder and harder for AAA as there's less and less ships to spread out that cap war, and these Proteus just get neuted and neuted to the point they can't do anything at all.
It looks like at this point AAA is completely locked out. I don't see much fire coming out at this point. The Ishkars being eliminated eliminates actually a big source of their drone damage. I mean, they were smart in the beginning, but it looks like this setup is really not designed to go against such a heavy cap warfare counter. Essentially, Rote Kapelle really brought the perfect setup for this, and they're executing quite well at this point. The first Proteus for AAA is going deep into armor, getting no support from the Oniros, should go down any time now.
The Proteus have all turned. They were all kind of focused on that Harb. They've given up, but all of them are headed out towards this Guardian. I believe they have him tackled now, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep the damage up enough to really pressure him much. One of the Proteus is webbed down near their Harb, and he's kind of staying where he's at, but the other two are headed out there. I don't know. One of them was able to get a pulse on a micro warp at least, so they're not completely cap dry. I don't know if that's just bad management, you know, not cycling the newts correctly, or if the curses are starting to hurt for cap as well.
It looks like these Protei are completely locked out still. It's interesting that Harby has actually started to claw back armor from the Guardian. It looks like they're more concerned with the damage coming from it than the actual repping ability. It's unusual, though, as there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of damage coming out of the AAA team. The cap warfare is still proving to be extremely effective. The Proteus does have a number of medium armor bots on it, and it does appear to be holding stable. Drones mostly hovering all over the place right now. We've got a lot of repping drones at the moment, and a few light damage drones, but really not a significant source of damage unless those Protei are able to generate some cap, which doesn't seem to be possible.
Yeah, this Balgorn's doing a good job too, webbing which of the Proteus get close to that Guardian. There was a couple right on top of it, but now they're slowed down, webbed, and not able to turn the micro warps on to catch back up. So the Guardian able to scoot away and get most of his armor back, but now starting to go down again. Mostly still just damage drone DPS, I think. There's really not anything close enough to him. There's like, I don't know. Yeah, there's not a Proteus two. One of them is close, and has guns on actually. So. He is still putting DPS there, but I don't know. I just don't know. The first Proteus to go down is getting pretty low, and the Oniros is pretty low as well.
It's interesting. Rote Kapelle seems to be switching their fire up between the Oniros and that first Proteus. The Guardian does have a number of Hammerhead 2s and Hobgoblin 2s on it. It looks like he's going to lose this battle. It doesn't seem that will make a whole lot of difference at this point, as the real problem for AAA is that cap warfare. Maybe they'll be able to eliminate the Harbinger, but I really don't think that's going to be enough. This could be too little too late for AAA.
Oh, the Guardian's so close, though, that Proteus had guns on. They had a web on the Guardian. They still have a web on the Guardian, actually. And they're still shooting it, but just not quite enough damage to finish it off. It's going to be really important. If that goes down, it really could turn things around. There's just so little damage left. Really just the Balgorn. That Beam Harb, I'm not really excited about the damage it can put out. Man, I just can't believe that Guardian's still hanging in there. He's got rep bots on him, but he's got damage drones on him. The one Proteus that was really close putting damage got pulled off and is now at a little bit further range, and there goes the first Proteus. So that's really bad news for AAA.
Yeah, once again, now with that Proteus down, we've got even more concentration of the Cap warfare on top of them. That Guardian's still managing to claw back at tiny amounts of armor. At this one, he's got a sliver of structure left. I would imagine if that guy was on AAA, I'm pretty sure Evil Thug would be screaming "Structura, Structura," something like that. It looks like at this point AAA is not going to be able to hold on long enough. Although it's interesting, doesn't seem to be a whole lot of damage incoming to the AAA team. Those drones slowly chewing away, but not able to break the tanks.
Yeah, the damage is not going to be like real heavy now from this point from either team, I guess, but obviously Rote Kapelle in a position to at least do damage, whereas at this point AAA really can't. The Balgorn can shoot freely. If he starts to hurt for Cap, he can just turn the newts off, and that's really fine because you got the curse to back him up. Although, bunch more damage on the Guardian, and it does go down. Wow, I can't believe they were able to catch back up. It seems like at this point they would just be in a total chokehold from the curses and the Balgorn, but somehow these two Proteus managing to move around and get stuff done still. So I don't know. I'm not over kind of this match yet. These two Proteus could, at this point, really do some damage if they're able to move and get a tackle maybe on the Harb.
Looks like it, and the first carries goes down for Rote Kapelle, and maybe this is changing directions. The winds of change have come. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The curses are still able to seem to be able to focus their Cap warfare, but again, there's just not much damage coming out of the Rote Kapelle team. They seem to have emphasized so much on their E-War that they really did seem to neglect the actual DPS, and the big part of this tournament is actually killing ships and scoring points. So, I mean, not to state the obvious, but.
Yeah, I was going to say something actually about points. Yesterday, I think I had it screwed up a lot of the day. One of these teams in all the matches for the rest of the day will go through in every match because every one of them's coming off one win. Every team with 2 wins moves through. But in this match and all the matches to follow, it's really important for the losing team to get as many points as they can. So really, both of these teams in really good shape, and doing something like taking out that Guardian and carries at the end actually could be the thing that puts them over the line if it comes down to that. So both teams really doing what they need to. Now the Oneros looks like it's in bad shape, actually starting to take damage again after it had regen some shields back. And for now, the Proteus not able to tackle that other carries or even the Harb or something like that. Probably pretty low on Cap.
And we're not seeing any remote reps coming out of the Oneros to try and get Randy from AAA up. It looks like as soon as this Oneros goes down, they're going to switch to the second to last AAA Proteus, and that could be the end of this game.
Yeah, I just don't think AAA has a way back into it, but a pretty awesome match. Really, I think good piloting on the part of the Proteus pilots. It's a really miserable environment to be in, have all that neutralization and be so dependent on moving around. It was really good that they were able to take the bombers out early. I think if the bombers would have stayed on the field much longer, there really wouldn't have been any chance at all for AAA to even take this many ships out and give themselves a chance at moving forward. So really good job there. This Proteus still trying. He's webbed. By now the Balgorn should be able to keep both of them locked down pretty good, and there goes one. So just one left. Really good job, both teams. Rote Kapelle gonna handle the rest of this pretty easily.
I'm not sure if this fit is really the best they could have done from Rote Kapelle. I really don't like that beam Harby. It seems to really be having trouble putting damage onto anything at this point. But now it's just a matter of time. You've got 2 curses, Balgorn, Harbinger left for Rote Kapelle versus a single AAA Proteus, unable to fire. No way to possibly claw this back.
It is really interesting the method Rote Kapelle took. I mean, the stealth bomber setups have been strong. We see them win almost every time. I think the one exception being Atlas beating a bomber setup. But they brought curses instead of rooks, which has been real common, and they didn't bring any command ships, which has been real common. We had a conversation earlier about the value of Damnations and Slipners and other command ships in these bomber setups, and I kind of like what they did. It's kind of interesting that it seems to me like they got the perfect match. You bring all this tracking disruption and webbing and the Balgorn and all the cap neutralization and run into kind of a cap-dependent turret-based Tech 3 battlecruiser team seems pretty ideal for them, and they kind of struggled. So I don't know, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means, that the FCing was a little weak on their side, or if the fit is a little weak. But it'll be interesting to see if they stick with all the curses later rounds, or move to something a little more E-war, like jamming heavy, or even something more damage heavy. Anyway, Proteus down, so that'll finish the match. Good job, Rote Kapelle. Good job, both teams, and we'll go back to Soundwave.
Thanks, guys. That's a smashing way to start the second half of today. One of those matches that for a long time looked like it could go both ways, both logistics ships going down and just generally things blowing up left and right. We have another match in 5 minutes. It's Agony Empire versus Shura Khan. Let's hope it's just as good.